is my slam time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my slam time. Gonna mess up your whole mind. This is my slam time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my slam time. Gonna mess up your whole mind.
Hello and welcome to episode 5 of EWA Elite Wrestling Alliance. My name is Mikey Beza and I am pleased to join you live from a new destination this week. We did 2 in a row the last 2 weeks, and tonight we are in Buffalo, New York. And before we proceed, as always, want to give a big shout out to Pulverize for their song Slam Time from the album Chaos Games. You can get that album from the link in the description below. Big thank you to Pulverize for allowing us to use Slam Time. And as always, I am joined at the commentary desk by my commentary partner, the greatest colour commentator in the game, Emir Blackbane Costello.
I gotta tell you, Mike, I am beyond excited. We are here in Buffalo where the temperatures are super low. And if you're going to win, and you're going to do anything good tonight, you're going to have to be cold as ice yourself.
Oh, look at that. That's why he's the best colour man in the business. Straight in there. And we're just round the corner, figuratively and literally, from EWA Genesis. That is tomorrow night and just down the road in New York City itself. But tonight, we're kicking things off with Taylor Osborne. I know you love this guy. Give me what you got.
Well, first off, I gotta say, Taylor, is that a new jacket?
It's a new everything, I believe. He's got white gear. I don't know what the occasion is. Maybe just, I don't know, woke up on a different side of the bed. I don't know, different bed. I've got no idea. But Taylor, yeah, rocking the white gear with the green trim. Very nice.
Yeah, he's looking good. Perhaps he was attributing all his losses to the old gear, and he figured if he was going to win one tonight, he was going to have to start anew.
Oh my god, all the losses. Like he's not won. I don't know. There's no containing you with regard to Unhinged. But yeah, Taylor Osborne rocking out the new gear. Still the same colours, but different priorities. Mostly white with green and purple now, instead of the traditional sort of priority purple and green. So with a bit of white trim. We'll see if it does him well. If he wins tonight, then I have a feeling he might stick to this gear. Like you say, wrestlers can be funny creatures in general. You know, we talked in a previous episode about how you always do the exact same entrance routine, and it's part of the superstition in getting yourself into the right frame of mind for the match. Hey, yeah, Taylor picks up a big win here in this new gear. There's no way he's not wearing it again, in my opinion. Anyway, I'd say his opponent, but in fact we're kicking things off with a fatal 4-way match, so one of his opponents, and this could very well be all 3 of his opponents, because Payne is a beast. Give me your thoughts on Payne.
Payne is a perfectly apt name for this young man, because that's what he leaves his opponents in. This guy is reckless, this guy is aggressive, and once he gets down to the ring, the other 3 guys are going to have to do something special. They're going to go over Payne.
Yeah, and as always, coming to the ring through the audience. I don't know if I attribute that to his popularity, or if it's just, well, you wouldn't dare touch me anyway. But he does seem to be a popular wrestler within EWA. The fans, you see him there cheering him on as he walks past them. But I don't know, would those same fans boo him from a distance? Probably not. He does seem to be pretty popular, but I wouldn't boo him to his face regardless, would you?
I definitely wouldn't, and you're right. It's worth noting that usually when wrestlers come to the crowd, there usually has to be, a security guard that follows them if the crowd's trying to just tap their shoulder, just mob them. This guy comes walking down, and people are actually giving him 6 feet of space.
We might as well call that crowd the Red Sea, because Payne, being Moses, just parted them. Like, absolutely, no one wants to touch him, just in case he takes it the wrong way. Yeah, absolutely. Great presence, and in my opinion, a really strong start to the show. We're having this is only half the match, and we've got Taylor Osborne and Payne in the ring already. This is going to be one hell of an opener.
By the way, you can't forget, if you're an EWA fan, you're going to be live in the arena. Make sure you bring a bag, because every time Payne comes out, it's time to get paid.
Except if you're on the far side, on the what they call the hard cam side. Because that side, the money seems to get set fire to, as you pointed out, by his pyro. So, unlucky. You get to be on screen for the whole show, but you don't get paid. So, anyway, there's Payne. Taylor's outside the ring, probably wisely. I mean, best for everyone to avoid their potential opponents until everyone's in the ring. Now here comes the man who Payne beat in the very first match in EWA history, Jackson Blake. And I don't know if you remember, but immediately following that match being broadcast, both in YouTube comments and on Twitter, Jackson Blake was pretty vocal about wanting another shot at Payne. And even when I interviewed the man behind Jackson Blake on Chatty Tuesdays, he mentioned wanting another match with Payne at some point. If Payne, we didn't know at the time, but if Payne didn't get through to the final of the EWA Championship tournament, and he hasn't got through to the finals. So tomorrow at Genesis, it will be Jackson Blake versus Payne one-on-one one more time, but they have the opportunity to get their hands on each other here in the context of a fatal four-way match.
It'll be interesting to see with two other competitors in the ring at the same time how often they go after each other. And when you're Mr. Blake here, there's always another shot at Payne. But if I was him, I would learn to do my talking in the ring and not so much online.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I personally, I think we talked about what we see in Payne's eyes, and I said fear because I can see my reflection. If it were me, this is no disrespect to Jackson Blake, he's obviously a lot more capable in a wrestling ring than myself, but if it were me, I would personally direct it at literally anyone else than Payne. but Jackson Blake feels like he didn't put up the best performance of his career, in the opening match in EWA history, and wants to put that right on the first ever Sunday special tomorrow night at Genesis. What do you think his odds are? Do you think now he knows a bit more about Payne, he can come back, or do you think Payne's still going to pick up the win?
I mean, it's hard to go against Payne. Like Jackson Blake, he's a guy that's got something to prove, a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he wants his vengeance. So I really can't decide, but I am super excited to watch.
Yeah, me too. Now, the final participant in this Fatal 4-Way, Richard Anderson, coming down to the ring. All four of these guys not in the Double Jeopardy match for the EWA Championship, got eliminated from the tournament at various stages. But a little bit of a preview of some four-way action. However, this match will be just under standard Fatal 4-Way rules. First pinfall or submission wins the match. You're going to have to wait until tomorrow to see a Double Jeopardy match. But a little bit of a teaser, opening up with a four-way match tonight. And here we go. So, a little bit more action than we're used to calling as well here. You know, going to be difficult to keep up. Jackson Blake's already taken down Richard Anderson. Payne and Taylor Osborne seem to have paired off. So, in a way, this sort of looks a bit like a Double Jeopardy match in that it's currently being presented as two singles matches, but the rules of how to win the match are totally different. So, have you got a pick for this match? Do you think there's anything, you could get an upset because necessarily the top dog in the match doesn't have to get pinned to lose? Like, what do you foresee happening here tonight?
You know what? I gotta say, when I take a look at all four competitors in the ring, it really kind of feels like Taylor Osborne could sneak out a win at any moment.
Yeah, I get the vibes that Taylor Osborne, for all his dancing to the ring and his crazy look and his mannerisms and what have you, I get a feel of the Jack Sparrow about him, from Pirates of the Caribbean, where you sort of go, is all this planned in advance, or is he just winging it? And there's no real way of telling. And the more I watch Taylor Osborne, the more I think, maybe this guy knows what he's doing. Maybe he's a bit more devious and calculated than he appears to be. Maybe that's part of the game he plays, is to seem like he doesn't have a plan, but really he does. So yeah, I agree with you. This could be the sort of environment where Taylor Osborne thrives.
And I do think Taylor's got to be careful because he's in there with three very large men who could absolutely make short work of him, as if life hasn't already done that.
Oh. And it begins, the first short joke. We're going to have like a counter or something. Like some people need a swear jar. I think you're going to need a short joke jar. I don't know. Give your short joke jar. Get $1 in every time you make a short joke, and you'll be able to pay for Payne's making it rain thing during his entrance.
And I was going to say, as long as I'm out here, whenever Payne comes out, I'll just use his $1.
So we had a 2 count there. Payne then shoves off Taylor Osborne, who broke up the pin. So that's where this comes in. Payne could potentially have won there in a one-on-one match. He seemed to have Jackson Blake beat, but Taylor Osborne broke it up. So you've got to have eyes in the back of your head in a fatal four-way match. And we've got separate matches inside and out of the ring at the moment. But now Taylor rejoining the action on the inside. Oh, just in time for a great athletic manoeuvre by Richard Anderson, but he caught nothing but mat. So, not a great result, but it looked good on the way down.
Looking and talking about strategy, Payne's on the outside. He's trying to catch his breath, letting the other guys fight it out a bit.
And there's Taylor Osborne going for a roll-up while he thought Payne was still on the outside, but he hadn't noticed Payne was already back in. Oh! Drops the face of Payne onto his own knee or shin. I'm not sure exactly what he made contact with, but it's harder than a face, that's for sure. And then nice backflip into a reverse DDT by Taylor Osborne. Oh, but his luck runs out and he eats a clothesline from Payne.
I think these competitors here, they have to be really careful. You look at a guy like Taylor Osborne, he is faster than a strike of lightning. However, he's not going against one guy. He's going against three guys, and if he's not careful, he's going to lose all his energy before the end of the match. Yeah,
it would appear there's actually a fifth participant. The referee just got caught up in the action for a second there, but luckily he's okay, and he's back up to continue the match. But yeah, I think overall, I would say this environment maybe favours Taylor more than it hinders him, but it hinders everyone. You know, there's always that chance you're just going to get hit from behind because you're focused on one guy and another guy's just watching you, waiting for a moment to strike. Kind of like then when Taylor came in, Payne and Jackson were focused on each other, little miniature rivalry going on there, and Taylor decided to run in and get involved. But we'll see if he can take advantage. No, Jackson Blake actually firmly in control, all three other men down at the moment.
I will say it's interesting, Jackson Blake hit Payne, got him down, and he had a chance to stay on him, but he instead walked away and went over to Taylor Osborne. Maybe he's trying to save it for Genesis.
Yeah, maybe saving it for Genesis. Maybe he saw Taylor out the corner of his eye and thought, yeah, he's not out of it enough to allow me to get a pin yet. You know, there's so many layers to the strategy. Do you try for a quick pin when someone may or may not be looking, or do you make sure you've taken out all three of your opponents? Like Richard Anderson has right now, all three other men are down. And, oh, never mind, now Jackson Blake's in control. But these two have an opportunity to pick up the win now. One-on-one, no one to get in the way. Is that Taylor Osborne's feet? I think Taylor Osborne was just doing a handstand dance on the outside. Yeah, that's Taylor, and he's still back in time to break up the pin, though. You know, again, that thing of, is he more calculated than we give him credit for? Maybe. UTO! Oh, here we go. Two. Oh, picking up the pin on Payne would definitely be an achievement in this match. Probably the most difficult man of the four to keep down historically. So Taylor going for the impact pin there, going for the statement, but Payne kicked out at two.
Not only would it be an achievement, but it would really validate the new tights.
Definitely wearing them forevermore. Now armbar by Jackson Blake on Taylor Osborne. Payne comes to get involved, but he sees Taylor wriggling out of it and just allows Taylor to punch his rival, Jackson Blake, in the face. Payne probably taking a bit of pleasure in watching him get kicked in the face there. Yep, look, Payne taking his sweet time here, but Taylor's out of the move. And look at that, mistake by Payne, I would say. We don't see a lot of those. Don't get to say that line a lot. But he should have kept his eyes on the action, and he's frustrated with himself, and he gets straight back up. Oh!
Oh!
Even if it's his own mistake, you still don't want him getting angry.
Everybody's got a plan until they get kicked in the mouth. Yeah,
everybody's down except for Payne as well. Oh no, Taylor's back in. Jackson Blake recovering. Now only Payne's down. It's amazing how quickly the momentum switches in matches like this. We're used to calling one-on-one matches, and there's just so much more to call in a Fatal 4-Way match. The Double Jeopardy match is going to be a really, really tough call, but a really fun call tomorrow. I can see it coming. It should be a hell of a match. Oh, going for the pin here on his rival, Jackson Blake. Taylor Osborne turns and catches. He hears the referee counting, looks for the pin, breaks it up at 2. But Jackson Blake maybe could have pinned Payne there.
How amazing would that have been? By the way, you kind of want Jackson Blake to pin Payne, because if they go into their singles match at Genesis, each with one pinfall over the other, it makes things that much more interesting.
Yeah, a little bit of a rubber match going on. Oh! Drops him right
Ooh,
on his head. If he could
goodness.
dispatch of Richard Anderson. Oh no, wow, Payne wisely rolling to the outside. He was in trouble there. Oh! Oh no, no. Too close to the ropes. Rope break's still in effect in this match. You've still got to be in the middle of the ring to pick up the win. There'd be no disqualifications in a fatal 4-way, but you can still break up pins with a rope break. Ring positioning still important in this type of match.
Anyway, I gotta say how much I respect these competitors. In an environment where there is no disqualification, we've yet to see any weapons be introduced.
Yeah, especially with the slightly personal nature of Jackson Blake and Payne's. It's not really a personal rivalry, it's a professional rivalry, but with there being a rivalry there, the temptation must be there to take a shortcut. But so far, yeah, just a good old-fashioned wrestling match, just several of them going on at any one time. Now, we're down to just Payne and Taylor at the moment. They're going a bit back and forth. Hammerlock to Taylor, but a back elbow, that'll get you out of a hammerlock, no problem. And now Taylor Osborne, picks the leg, and sweeps the other leg. Oh, so he's trying to slow Payne down, maybe take away that spear, that deadly weapon of Payne's that he's put a few opponents away with now. Poison Rana to Richard Anderson, and now it's just Taylor and Jackson Blake standing.
Taylor Osborne, I gotta say, he is doing amazing in there. He's just keeping everybody off their feet and on the mat.
Yeah,
but I know
he's on a roll at the moment.
every time he hits a move, he has a little bit more difficulty getting back up. His energy seems to be running a little bit low fighting 3 minute ones.
Uh-oh. Oh my god! Bye, Taylor. He took that brief minute to pose to the crowd, which may be the only flaw in Taylor's game, in my opinion, is that tendency to misbehave in the middle of a match rather than getting the job finished off. And he paid for it. He got launched across the ring by Payne then. Incredible strength.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Taylor has a very short attention span.
Oh, that's $2. Oh, UTO to Payne,
UTO.
kind of out of nowhere there. Oh, one for
Oh my
Jackson Blake.
goodness.
Those two were so focused on each other, and Taylor just came in. 2.
If he gets this win.
Oh, Richard Anderson did not break up the pin. He actually missed, but Jackson Blake kicked out anyway. Incredible sequence by Taylor Osborne then. And he goes for another UTO. No, Payne shoves him off this time. Superman punch. Whoo! Almost. I think there's been a couple of moments where Taylor really could have won this match. Like, half a second away a couple of times now.
Hey, I think he could still win this match.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
he's
Dives
an
into the
amazing
ring.
competitor. Super quick.
Oof. Not anymore, he's not. You're not quick once you've been kicked in the face. Oh! Nice move by Jackson Blake. Will he pick up the win? The other two outside the ring. No! Richard Anderson kicks out at 2 9/10 at the very earliest. Oh, and Payne in and just completely knocks him out. Going for a pin on
my
Payne now.
goodness.
2.
If he gets this win.
Oh!
So close.
What a great
so
opening
close.
match, and what a great advert for tomorrow's Double Jeopardy match. If this is what 4 contenders not in line for the EWA title can do in a 4-way match, imagine what tomorrow's match is going to be like. Great stuff.
Anyway, Jackson Blake going for pins on everybody. He desperately wants to get this W.
Yeah, and who can blame him? You know, it's a big win whether you pin your rival Payne or not, but I think deep down he would like to get the pin on Payne here. Psychological edge going into tomorrow's match as well. Now, Payne hits a spear on Richard Anderson. Taylor's distracted with Jackson Blake, and it's a 3!
Wow.
It's a 3! They were too busy fighting, manoeuvring each other onto the turnbuckle, and Payne picked up the win on Richard Anderson. So, slight psychological edge to Payne ahead of his match with Jackson Blake, but he didn't beat Blake, and Blake will be reminding everyone of that, I'm sure.
If I'm Taylor Osborne, I'm getting to the outside of the ring immediately, scraping up some of Payne's money that fell, and buying a new pair of tights.
Hey, well, he is as yet unpinned in white, so maybe they'll make a return, as he gets to formally lose in them. He just also didn't win. But I do believe, at least psychologically, there's a difference. Alright, so now it's time to discuss the finals of the EWA Championship tournament that will be taking place at Genesis tomorrow. And the match type is a very special match type. To the best of my knowledge, only one has ever been done in wrestling history. Now, obviously, maybe somewhere around the world someone's done it and it's never been televised, but only one that ever received any mainstream attention. It's going to be a double Jeopardy match. Now, the rules of a double jeopardy: all 4 men will start in the ring together, like a fatal 4-way match. It's elimination rules. However, it's a little bit more complicated than that. They will be paired up. So, wrestler A and wrestler B will be paired up, wrestler C and wrestler D will be paired up. You can fight whoever you want in the match, but you can only eliminate the person you are paired with. So it's like having 2 simultaneous singles matches going on in the ring at the same time. Once one person has been eliminated from each match, then the 2 still remaining in the match immediately fight it out to win and be declared the first EWA champion. So, interesting moveset, something that doesn't get done very often in wrestling. What are your thoughts on seeing a double jeopardy match?
I think it sounds very interesting and exciting. I can't wait to see what the 4 competitors are going to do and what kind of strategies they're going to employ.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategy potentially goes into a match like this, because you might only be able to pin one of your opponents, but you can damage all 3 of them, you know, and hedge your bets going into the quote-unquote final when there's only 2 of you left. So it'll be interesting to see how different wrestlers approach the match differently.
Can't wait to see who thinks to form alliances and what anybody is willing to do to make sure they come out on top and the first EWA champion.
Yeah, me too. Here we go. Okay, on with the next match. So, double jeopardy coming up tomorrow, but you might be wondering who's going to face who, because obviously it's like 2 singles matches and then a final. It's like a mini tournament all taking place in the ring at once. And we're going to establish that over the course of tonight's show. There's going to be 4 singles matches, each involving one of the participants. And it's going to be, get this, a beat the clock challenge. So each man's going to have a chance to pin his opponent or make him submit as quickly as possible. Whoever gets the win in the quickest time gets to choose their first opponent in Double Jeopardy. Gets to choose who they fight first in the Double Jeopardy match. So Lee Toki obviously not in the match. He's out here to provide opposition. Of course, if you lose your match tonight, then you definitely don't get to choose your opponent. You don't register a time, basically. But assuming all 4 win, the quickest winner will get to dictate who fights who in the Double Jeopardy match.
My favorite part about all this is that there are 4 individuals who have a chance to play spoiler.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine picking up a win the night before Genesis. If the guy you beat then goes on to become EWA champion, you gotta think you're front of the line for a title shot, because you beat him the night before he won the title. So anyway, Shane Andrews is the first participant to get a chance to set. He's going to set the time to beat, assuming he doesn't lose.
Now, who did Shane Andrews beat to get here?
So Shane Andrews was in that super interesting block with Alan Clark, Frost and Mammoth that came down to the wire on week 3, and anyone had a chance of advancing going into their last match. It was a crazy situation. We even had to make a graphic just to explain it. And Shane Andrews actually came out on top by beating Mammoth in the main event of week 3 to advance.
Yeah, I recall that match, and I think the thing I recall the most is how unfair it was, because, I mean, yes, Shane Andrews, he pinned Mammoth, but let's not forget, right before their match, Mammoth was forced to defend his life against 2 other competitors, and he wasted a ton of energy doing so it really wasn't fair when he went against Shane Andrews.
Defend his life. It sounds like you've got an interesting take on what happened in that show. So just to remind everyone, or if anyone missed week 3 for any reason, do go back and watch it after this show's over. But basically, in the semi-main event, Alan Clark defeated Frost, and what that meant was that Mammoth could no longer qualify for the EWA Championship match. And he came out and attacked Alan Clark after the match in a fit of rage, and then Frost tried to defend Clark, just a bit of sportsmanship basically for his respected opponent that had just beaten him. And Mammoth, impressive, he took down both men. And that's actually going to lead to our semi-main event tonight, in which there will be tag team action featuring Alan Clark and Frost teaming up against Mammoth and their partner. But we've got a beat the clock challenge match here. You can see that the clock is counting up because Shane Andrews is currently setting a time. He's not against a time limit, except he has to be as quick as possible so that other people can't beat his time. But yeah, going back to what happened with Mammoth really briefly, Yeah, that could have affected his performance in his match with Shane Andrews and meant that Shane Andrews advanced as opposed to Alan Clark. So Alan Clark, 2 reasons to be unhappy with Mammoth potentially. Oof, what a start. Okay, yeah, let's let you talk about Mammoth. I know you like Mammoth, but wow, what a move by Shane Andrews there. The Hurricane Runner to the outside.
Yeah, and I just want to say for the record, I don't blame Shane Andrews for the fact that Mammoth had to defend himself against Frost and, well, basically the entire world. So with that being said, Shane Andrews, for me, still very impressive as he fights Lee Toki, the Golden Knight here.
Golden Nightmare. Blackbane coming out with one of his first gifted nicknames in EWA, Lee Toki, the Golden Nightmare. Having a nightmare at the moment as he gets his face stomped into the mat, and now Shane Andrews actually, stomps on the back of the elbow as well, held him in place by stepping on his hand. Shane Andrews not messing about here, he's going super aggressive, wanting to set an impressive time.
It's really smart to do. If you take a look at what he's doing, he stomped the hand, he stomped the small of the back, and he stomped the face. All the places that have no armor. Yeah,
no point in going for too many body shots, especially to the front where the chest plating is, and up on the shoulders. You know, it's not going to do you much good against Lee Toki. Oh, neither's getting punched in the face though, and that's what just happened there. Oh, nice move by Lee Toki into kind of I can't think what the traditional name for like a Yorinagi almost, but falling with it. Great move. Oh, wow, look at the speed of Shane Andrews.
My goodness. By the way, if you're Lee Toki, how do you not just roll out of the ring and just run around it just to make the time go?
I don't think that's Lee Toki's style. I don't think he has any malice towards Shane Andrews as such. These two, first time they've met in EWA, they weren't in the same block. There's no prior history to fall back on. But at the moment, they are on the outside, which is where you don't want to be as Shane Andrews. You know, you can't... Well, you could win it out here, I suppose. If you take Lee Toki down and get back in, that would still count as a time registered. But I think both men would want to pin or submit their opponent in this match. Both quite honourable competitors based on the past few weeks of evidence. So we'll see how that plays out here. Yep, both men back in the ring. Shane Andrews wanting to win it in the centre.
By the way, I know in the past few weeks we've had a lot of competitors that stop and celebrate and stop to do this and that, and they don't really go for covers and they think they should. But this isn't that kind of match. Everybody who's in a beat the clock challenge tonight, they've got to make the best use of their time or they're not going to get to make any good decisions.
Yeah, agreed. And speaking of making good decisions, let's talk for a second about both the psychological edge of winning this beat the clock challenge, but also potentially the actual tactical edge of winning this beat the clock challenge and getting to choose your opponent. Like, how big of a deal is that in a match like a double jeopardy match?
I think it's a huge deal because if of the 4 guys in the double jeopardy match, you've got one in mind that you don't want to face, and then you also don't have the fastest time, and then that person ends up picking you, or they pick somebody else and you get the person you don't want by default, you really put yourself in a difficult situation.
Yeah, and on the flip side, if these guys have in their mind that, you know, they'll all have been watching each other's matches while they've been competing in different blocks, and if Shane Andrews is thinking, oh, I think I can have this guy's number, you know, and I don't want to name names because I don't want to make it sound like I'm picking on anyone in particular, but he'll know out of Drake Doobie, Coyote Cody and CJ who he fancies taking on, you know, should he win this beat the clock challenge. And he does in fact win it in 4 minutes and 26 seconds. Impressive time, actually. It's a fairly quick match. So
I'm shocked.
Yeah, they've got a time to beat in this beat the clock challenge. So well done, Shane Andrews. But yeah, what we were saying, he's got to have someone in mind where he's like, well, if I win this, I want to fight them. You know, and so going into a match knowing you've got to choose your opponent. On one hand, it gives you a bit of a psychological edge. On the other hand, does it add a bit of pressure though? I picked this fight, I have to win it now.
You do have to win it, but you know what else? I know you're thinking that it's really up to chance who he picks. Let's be honest here. There's only one person who's gonna pick, and that's Mr. Doobie, because no man in his right mind would willingly face Coyote Cody.
Yeah, there's also CJ in there, but you never know, because we talked about the potential, speaking of Mr. Doobie, what was I saying? we talked about the potential for a strategy against Cody because he's so all guns blazing. Is there a potential to sort of use his momentum and aggression against him? Maybe Shane Andrews fancies himself as being the man who can do that. We just don't know. We'll have to see if Shane Andrews wins this Beat the Clock challenge, if anyone's able to beat his time, and if not, who will he pick? We'll find out over the course of the show, I'm sure, if he even gets a chance to. But yeah, Drake Doobie out here, looking relaxed. I'm sure once the bell rings, you love Drake Doobie. We both love us some Drake Doobie.
What is in that cup?
Oof. At some point, I'm going to have to get him on Chatty Tuesdays and ask him, you know, like, absolutely, like, find out what's in the cup, or what was in the cup, because I'm convinced it's empty by this point. What
Drake
was in there?
Doobie is my spirit animal.
He's out here to have fun, but once the bell rings, he knows he's got just under 4.5 minutes to put away a tough competitor at the end of the day. There's no gimmies in EWA, so no matter who comes out next, he's going to have to do well to win in 4 minutes 26. And he's got tattooed on his arm 4:20 for a slightly different reason, but that'd be a good time to shoot for, hey?
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's when you're Shane Andrews and you're coming out and you're the first person who's going to set the time. I mean, there's pressure to get a quick time, but also it's different when you're Drake Doobie and you know that you got to get it done and for, you know, under Shane Andrews' time, because now you can't stop thinking about it. You can't stop looking at the clock, and the closer you get to it, the more anxiety you're going to be having.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe a slight disadvantage, or a slight advantage to Shane Andrews going first. But on the flip side, that adds that sense of urgency that will be more of a sense of urgency than Shane Andrews had. No matter how much he tried for the fastest time possible, he didn't have a specific goal in mind. And maybe that slowed him down. Maybe if someone had already done it in 3.5 minutes, he would have done 3:26. We'll never know. But here comes Drake Doobie's opponent. It's Tornado, the little brother of Taylor Osborne, who Drake Doobie beat on week 4 to progress into the EWA Championship match. So I don't think there's any ill will between Funhinged and Drake Doobie, but a micro feud almost, you know, here. A little bit of a rivalry, just a little bit of history between these guys without them ever having directly crossed paths. So this should be interesting.
Yeah, I think it should be too. And as I watched Tornado crawl down to the ring, I realized something that I might not have picked up on before, and that's that he kind of gives me the creeps.
Yeah, with that beautiful glow-in-the-dark green smile and all these mannerisms crawling through the smoke, certainly a psychological show. You know, it's certainly aimed to, designed to play mind games with his opponent, and apparently with our colour commentator as well.
Yeah, I would say the mind games are working in full effect at this point, and I gotta wonder, is Drake Doobie gonna be able to handle going against the powerful force that is Tornado?
Yeah, and what does Tornado have in the back of his mind? You know, you cost my brother a spot in the EWA Championship match. Is he out to play spoiler now for Drake Doobie? He doesn't even have to beat him. All he has to do is last 4.5 minutes, and he's played spoiler. Will he be going for the win? That's the question. You're the guy not in the EWA Championship match. Are you trying for the win here? Or are you just making your statement by lasting the time? Like, what difference does that make to the non-championship contenders, such as Tornado?
I think it makes a difference to Tornado, because if I remember correctly, he didn't win his last match. And so at this point, you can't really find yourself in a position of taking 2 losses in a row. You got to find a way to redeem yourself.
Yeah, and Tornado, it has an interesting track record in EWA. So far, he's winless. However, he's also only lost once. He's had 2 time limit draws in the block matches that had 10-minute time limits. So the smart money says this is going to go the distance, go to the 4:26 and run out as a time limit draw. There you go, 4 minutes 26 on the clock. And Drake Doobie off to a fast start, and who can blame him? Hurricane Runner to Tornado, but now Tornado fights back. But yeah, the smart money says time limit draw for Tornado, because 2 out of 3 matches so far have been time limit draws in longer matches. So
I think it'd be really interesting to see one of these opponents not only play spoiler, but what if they played spoiler and they beat the clock?
Yeah, that would be really interesting. That would certainly put them somewhere near contention for the EWA Championship, especially, as we discussed, like, say if Tornado did it here in less than 4 minutes 26 and picked up the win over Drake Doobie, then tomorrow Drake Doobie goes on and wins the EWA Championship. how do you justify Tornado not being next in line? He would have to be, right?
I would think so, by any measure. But I will say that Drake Doobie looks like he's doing everything he can to make sure that nothing like that even happens.
Yeah, he's taking it to Tornado. He's all business once the bell rings, especially in a timed environment like this. He knows the importance of getting to pick your opponent. But Tornado slides out the suplex attempt and now slams Doobie down. Tornado in control for the time being. Lifting Doobie up to his feet. Oh! Kick across the jaw. You could probably go for the pin there, but... Oh, okay. He's tying... What's he doing? He's tying all of Drake Doobie's limbs up. Oh, Drake Doobie can't move. Just leave him like that for 2 minutes 56. No, no, he kicks him up the bum. Tornado likes to have some fun, I guess, in there. But Drake Doobie, not impressed, kicks him off. Here we go. Will that light a fire under Drake Doobie? You know he likes to light certain things.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, deadlift gut wrench powerbomb. Impressive strength displayed by Drake Doobie. Oh, but then Tornado takes the legs, playing possum a little bit there, maybe.
When he went for that gut wrench powerbomb, he had the chance to go for the pin, and he didn't even try. What's going on, Drake Doobie?
Yeah, we're still only just over 2 minutes in. You know, it's a big ask to beat someone in 2 minutes. Maybe just wanted to get a few more of his high-impact moves in, using these moves to weaken Tornado, hit a couple of big moves, and pin him with maybe 30 seconds left on the clock would probably be my strategy, you know, rather than... Because the more pins you go for and they kick out of, that's sets of 3 seconds, you know, that you're wasting, just 3 seconds at a time. You know, those add up. So you've got to know you're picking up the win before you go for that pin, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a great point that you make. And the fact of the matter is, you're right, you don't have to beat your opponent in 2 minutes. You just got to beat him faster than the last guy won.
Yeah, but at the same time, the faster the better, because then the other two following you have a tougher task to beat your time. It's all that balancing act, you know, how do you go for it? And here we go, he is now going for it. He's going for the Stoner Special. He hits it. This would be an impressive time. 1, 2, no, Tornado kicks out at 2. That would have been a time, what, in the just over 3 minutes category. 3 minutes and about 10 seconds or something like that. That would have been a really tough time to beat.
Well, you got to pay attention to what's going on with Drake Doobie, because as time ticks away and we're coming up on just under a minute, there's going to be anxiety, there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be panic, because he's realizing he is running out of time.
Oh, and he's panicking now because Tornado, once again, tying up all his limbs. He doesn't want this time waste. Tornado admiring his handiwork and another kick. Oh, Drake Doobie being like, if you're going to kick me, can you not do it faster? Oh, there you go. There's a faster one. Nice front flip into the heel kick. Great move by Tornado. And Drake Doobie does not want to be on the mat with 30 seconds remaining. He doesn't want to be under the knee. Good Tornado.
Not even in control. He's 24 seconds left. I don't know if this young man's going to make it.
He's playing spoiler. He is playing spoiler a little bit. Maybe a touch of revenge for Big Brother in this one by Tornado. He just wants to see out the... Oh no, he wants to pick up the win. 1, 2, no. Drake Doobie kicks out, but 7 seconds left. That's it. It's done. Drake Doobie is not going to choose his opponent in the Double Jeopardy match. And in fact, Tornado is in control when the bell rings, when the time limit runs up. And Tornado saying he's seemingly not happy. Maybe wanting to go for the win and wasn't aware of the clock. But there you have it. So Shane Andrews currently in control of the Beat the Clock challenge.
Hey, it's worth noting that not only did Drake Doobie not win, but when time expired, Drake Doobie was flat on his back staring up at the arena lights.
Yeah, not good for your mindset going into the title match tomorrow. Now, if anyone is going to specialise in beating opponents down to the mat quickly and potentially picking up a hell of a time, surely it's this guy. Coyote Cody only has one gear, and it's just full speed ahead. Just as long as his opponent doesn't get one over on him, doesn't sidestep something and beat him to the punch and out-tactic him, I could see Coyote Cody setting a hell of a time here with the extra incentive in place and everything.
Yeah, I was in the back earlier in catering, and I accidentally bumped into Coyote Cody, and he just turned and looked at me. It was a really intense moment, but luckily Drake Doobie came dancing in and really broke up the tension.
What you mean is he distracted Coyote Cody and you got the hell out of there?
Immediately, if not sooner.
So, we hear the fun hinged music again. We've seen Taylor, we've seen Tornado, so we know who this is. This is going to be Thorn. And Thorn rocking a new look, it would seem. And as if he wasn't wacky enough. Go on, I'll let you take the mic with this one. Give me your thoughts.
I just gotta say, you know, Funhinged, capitalize on the FUN, but Adam Tornado and Taylor Osborne, Thorn was, I believe, the only brother that actually picked up a victory last week or recently. So, I mean, it's Coyote Cody. I don't think anybody stands a chance, let alone this guy. However, Thorn might just have the formula it takes to confuse Coyote Cody enough, and it's only 4 minutes. Can he survive? Do a little shuck and jive and play with his ponytails. We'll see what happens.
Oh, I know I'm confused. You used the word confused, Coyote Cody. I know I am. But we've talked about the animalistic nature of Coyote Cody before. And, oh, look at that. He ducks under the punch.
Beautiful.
Oh, but gets caught on the second try. But good dodge by Thorn. Good attempt at dodging the full steam ahead attack like we talked about. And you see the time in the top corner, still counting down from 4:26. That is still the time to beat. Look at him dancing around. He's killing seconds with this. You know, like, maybe it's not in his interest particularly. He wants to pick up a win here. But the fact of the matter is, Thorn's natural fighting style is killing the clock for Coyote Cody.
You know, Thorn has a real opportunity here, and he can really seize the moment if he chooses to stop clowning around.
Coyote Cody outside the ring with 3 minutes 50 left or so on the clock at that point. It's, like you said, was he confused? Is he put off his game by this new look of Thorn and just the general demeanour of Thorn? Oh, and we're going for an aeroplane spin. One of Thorn's go-to moves, and again, a clock killer. He's not doing it for that reason, but there's no doubting it's going to kill a good, 20 seconds doing this? Like, you don't need that if you're Coyote Cody.
How much could he possibly take? And you asked if Coyote Cody is put off his game. My response, we're all put off by Thorn.
Oh, Coyote Cody kicks out a 1. No time to wait for a 2 count here. Got to get back in control of this match. But Thorn swipes away the drop kick. We're going back and forth here, exchanging shots. Coyote Cody's got to establish control in this match. There's 3 minutes left, and he's going to start hitting some high-impact moves. He's not wanting to get slammed. Look at that, straight back up and a kick to the face. Coyote Cody not messing about. Even more urgency to his game than usual, if that was possible. But Thorn holding his own. They're going back and forth and back and forth. Oh, and didn't we just see that from Tornado? Funhinged must be training together. Right, that front flip kick. Oh. And now Cody sent onto the ropes. Oh, kick to the face. And he calls that the fun house, and it wasn't fun for Cody. Look at that beautiful shooting star press. Great technique.
Thorn is doing an amazing job here. We have to remember when it comes to these matches.
MSFTO, move stolen from Taylor Osborne. 1, 2, no way. He just picked up the win. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
He just did exactly what I said, which is use Coyote Cody's full steam ahead mentality against him. And he got one over on him. Hit him with a couple of big shots, stunned him, pinned him. Only takes 3 seconds.
I mean, and he more than beat the clock. I mean,
yeah.
Thorn, Coyote Cody should feel so disrespected right now by himself. How could you let yourself get pinned by the likes of Thorn?
I personally feel very sorry for everyone in the Double Jeopardy match tomorrow now, because Coyote Cody is going to be on the war path to prove himself and redeem himself, and not even necessarily in the eyes of others. He's just going to be mad, like more so than usual. But anyway, up next we've got tag team action. So we discussed earlier the issues between this man Alan Clark, Frost and Mammoth. They're in a tag team match tonight where Mammoth's got a tag team partner. Whether he wants one or not is open for debate. But tomorrow at Genesis, it's going to be a triple threat match. Alan Clark, Frost and Mammoth. All going at it, all taking each other on. First pinfall to the victory.
You know, Ibiza, they say that things happen in threes, and I gotta say I agree with that statement, because first I was confused by Thorn when he came out, then I was confused by Thorn picking up the victory against Coyote Cody, and now I'm confused by Alan Clark's outfit.
I knew that was coming. I clocked where you were going with that about halfway through that sentence, and I was like, oh god, here we go. Oh. So, opponents last week. not last week, sorry, it was 2 weeks ago. It was on week 3 that Block A was decided, my bad. Opponents 2 weeks ago, opponents tomorrow night, tag team partners tonight. How does that bode for Alan Clark and Frost? Can they coexist?
Well, they certainly were able to coexist when they ruined Mammoth's chances of getting into the title match, so I'm sure they can figure it out again tonight.
Yeah, it's a good point. Frost did defend Alan Clark against the attack by Mammoth, so there's at least a degree of mutual respect there, but knowing that they're going to be fighting each other tomorrow, what if Alan Clark's in the ring getting beaten down by Mammoth? Is Frost looking on thinking, well, this improves my chances tomorrow? You know, or is he thinking just about the tag match tonight? You don't know. There's a possibility that could come into play.
Yeah, I think if I'm Alan Clark or I'm Mammoth, I gotta be thinking about the fact that I'm getting ready to get my butt handed to me for what happened 2 weeks ago.
You mean Frost? You're not putting money on Mammoth getting his butt handed to him, are you?
Oh, absolutely not. He's gonna be doing the handing.
Okay,
I guarantee you that.
Interesting shot there of Alan Clark and Frost side by side, awaiting their opponents in the ring. No sense of friction at the moment, but will that alliance last through the match? So here's Mammoth's partner coming out next. It's Cody Gentry, who hasn't had a great start in EWA, but boy, if ever there was a match that you might want to win, not only from the point of view of you don't want to upset Mammoth by losing, but also, I mean, what an opportunity to win a match when you're teamed up with someone like Mammoth, right?
It almost feels like a gimme. And, you know, when it comes to Alan Clark and Frost, there's going to be no place they can hide. Cody Gentry, just feel free to sit down and ride the coattails of Mammoth, because he's going to take you all the way through, baby.
I would ask you for a pick in this match, all the triple threat, but I think pretty much everyone knows who your pick is for every match that involves Mammoth. So, you said something interesting a couple of weeks ago about maybe Mammoth needing a bit of direction, needing a bit of guidance. Maybe he's not always using his talents and his aggression in quite the right way. I think it's an interesting point, because for such a big man, you know, I think on first impressions alone, people would have expected him to run roughshod over his block, 3 wins and straight through, not it coming down to the wire and him getting cost a place in the final, you know. As mad as he can get with Alan Clark and come out and attack him, at the end of the day, there's no one to blame but yourself if you've not made the final. If you win all 3 of your matches, you're making the final no matter what, you know.
Oh, I think you're missing some options here. I don't agree with the statement that there's no one to blame but yourself. There's two guys that deserve the rightful blame here, and that's Frost and that's Alan Clark. And what Mammoth needs, he's got some great components. He's freakishly big. He's got aggression. He's got all the strength. But you're right. He's got to find somebody who can help him kind of hone that and focus that in. And we got to get this guy to the point to where nobody's able to take him off his feet. And if that young man had the guidance that I'm talking about, he would be an unstoppable force and an immovable object.
And here he is. There he is, making his impressive, imposing entrance. So, question, he's got a tag partner tonight, Cody Gentry. What do you make of that alliance? You know, Cody Gentry is a bit more traditional, shall we say. He's not, you know, 84 foot tall. He's not coming to the ring barefoot, looking like he's been frozen for a few million years and, you know, just got thawed out. Could he potentially have enough of a wrestling brain to guide Mammoth, or I don't know. He's not had a great win-loss record, but the best coaches aren't always the best players, and vice versa. Maybe, you know, a little bit of guidance might not go amiss here.
Yeah, I don't know that Cody Gentry is the one that needs to be guiding Mammoth, but I will say this. If you're Alan Clark and you're Frost, you already felt outnumbered just by having to face Mammoth. but having Cody Gentry there to boot, it just seems like the odds are insurmountable at this point. And listen, I know they can't hear me. They're at ringside waiting to start their match, but there is no harm in walking away and understanding that you've got no chance here and just going, you know what, I'm gonna save my fight for another day. And they should realize that that's an option.
I don't think that's how either of them are wired, but certainly an interesting point. And while you were talking, I noticed Alan Clark in the background kind of pointing at Mammoth. Maybe he's still not quite over the size of Mammoth. You know, it takes you a while of seeing Mammoth day in, day out, or week in, week out, to really start to understand how big this guy is and just get... I'd say get used to that. I don't think you ever get used to it. impressive, dominating presence. But Cody Gentry starting out the match and starting out aggressive with Alan Clark, looking to make a good impression with Mammoth, it would seem.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see Cody Gentry get right on top of Alan Clark and just punch him repeatedly. And Alan Clark didn't really seem like he was finding a way to defend himself in that moment.
No, Gentry with an impressive start, more impressive than his previous few weeks. Maybe, I don't know, has he got a point to prove to himself, or is he fearing the repercussions of letting Mammoth down, or is he feeling confident because of look who his tag partner is? Also, what do you make of the fact that Mammoth elected to start the match on the apron rather than the ring? Is that a tactical move by Mammoth, or does he not particularly, in your opinion, resort to tactical moves? He seems to me like he's quite animalistic and just fight heavy. So what do you think the reason is for him being on the apron?
Oh, this isn't tactical at all, Mr. Ibeza. You know, when you're Mammoth, you do things in your own time when you feel like it. And when he's getting ready, he'll get in that ring, and Cody Gentry will know to get the hell out of the way.
Oh, see that teamwork? Wow. Okay, I don't think we expected to see fluid teamwork from Alan Clark and Frost, but we just saw it then. Alan Clark grabbed Gentry into a front face lock for Frost to super kick. That was quite impressive after the tag. I expected them to maybe be able to coexist, but almost showing tag team chemistry there. Impressive.
You know, I think they have nobody to thank but Mammoth for their chemistry, because it all started when they tried to jump him a few weeks ago.
Oh, to quote an all-time great, would you stop? oh, look at that. Frost filling his boots with a cheap shot on Mammoth there. He's got an issue with Mammoth, and I'll be honest, I'm going to look at the other side of this coin. I can't blame Alan Clark or Frost for having an issue with Mammoth. He had no business being out there just yet at the end of that match. And that cheap shot, I wouldn't say justified, because it's called a cheap shot for a reason, but I sort of understand it.
Yeah, I don't think it's very wise of Frost to go over there taking any cheap shots on Mammoth.
Oh no, I never said it was wise. I just said I understood. Yeah, I would not describe it as wise. Oh, he's going after him again. And now Cody Gentry doing some sort of muscle pose there. He's just watching Frost beat down Mammoth. And if Mammoth is aware of Cody Gentry just standing and watching, I mean, yeah, he's picking his moment. Look at that, he gets the advantage. But I'm sure Mammoth would rather him have interrupted that move, if I'm being honest.
You know what, I don't know if that's true. I think at the end of that move, Mammoth said to Frost, "Hey man, thanks for the massage."
Well, it's taken him a minute to recover from that massage on the outside. He's not getting back up on the apron in any rush. If you notice, he's got his faculties back about him. By the way, nice double team move again by Alan Clark and Frost. Second bit of cohesive tag team wrestling we've seen from them in this match. What's Mammoth doing? Mammoth is destroying the announce table over here. He's picking it apart. Get back on the apron, like you need to be on the apron, like ready to
That's
tag
what
in.
happens when you make this giant mad. And by the way, the fact that Frost and Alan Clark have had to do so much planning and come up with so many tag team moves because they knew they were going against Mammoth. And Mammoth is doing the smart thing. Let's let these little boys waste their energy against Cody Gentry. And when he's ready, like I said, he's going to come in the ring and kill, spree everything in the way.
He's going to have to be on the apron to come in the ring. At the moment, Gentry's fighting a handicap match. Double drop kick by Alan Clark. The speed he ran across the ring a couple of times there as well. If this wrestling thing doesn't work out for him, he could maybe go into the 100-meter sprint. He was moving some.
By the way, do you want to be the one to explain to Mammoth that he's in the wrong place?
Oh, did you see that? Alan Clark was about to eat, I think, maybe a back elbow or a splash from Cody Gentry in the corner, and Frost interrupted it, saving Alan Clark, his opponent tomorrow, from taking damage. Sorry, what was your question? I was just impressed with the teamwork. Repeat your question, please.
Well, my question was, do you want to be the one to have to explain to Mammoth that he's standing in the wrong place?
No, I'm good. I'm fine with him standing wherever he wants to. Although, I'd prefer him to be on the apron because he'd be slightly further away from me and I'd feel slightly safer.
Take a look at Frost's strategy here. He's got to face Alan Clark tomorrow. And instead of letting Alan Clark take damage, he saves him.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're all about picking up the win here. There's a bit of respect between these two after their match together and saving each other. You know, Frost didn't have to get involved with the attack by Mammoth either. He took a bit of a beat down as well at the hands of Mammoth. He didn't have to get involved in that, but he elected to. I feel like you know, I don't think they're going to be best friends. I don't think they're going to be, you know, an all-time great tag team in the history of professional wrestling. But there's a little bit of mutual respect there, which is nice to see, in my opinion. Great move by Frost then, by the way, dropping Gentry on his head. I would maybe have gone for a pinfall there, but he's got something else in mind. Oh, chicken wing gutbuster.
You know who I have respect for?
Mammoth. Yeah. Frost goes for the pin off his signature chicken wing gutbuster. Where's Mammoth? Oh, Cody Gentry kicking out, but Mammoth showing no interest in breaking up that pin. I don't know. Mammoth doesn't seem too bothered about potentially taking a loss here. You know, he's more worried about taking damage and being fresh for the triple threat match, by the looks of things.
There are no losses when you're Mammoth. Your whole life has been one big win.
Yeah, well, now, I have to question, though. We discussed earlier how Mammoth doesn't strike us as the most tactical of wrestlers. You know, he's like Coyote Cody. I describe him as quite animalistic. They're full force. They're there to fight people. You were talking about Mammoth getting some guidance. Is it possible Mammoth already has someone in his ear? Because this doesn't, like, has someone had a word with Mammoth between, like, week 3 and now? And said, look, bit of self-preservation in this match, you've got a triple threat coming up, because this would not be characteristic of Mammoth, in my opinion.
I mean, I do think that Mammoth is smart enough to have come up with this strategy on his own, but in addition to that, if somebody had gotten into his ear and gave him this direction, that person is a very smart person, and Mammoth is showing he's even smarter because he chose to listen.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely not what I would call traditional Mammoth. I mean, I know we're only on week 5, but I feel like we're starting to get a feel for the different personalities of the different wrestlers. And I would say sitting out a tag match and letting your partner do all the work isn't really Mammoth style. In fact, I would have put money on Mammoth never tagging Cody Gentry in. Like, you know, almost the opposite of what we're seeing. But Frost locking in the frostbite. Is Mammoth going to save him? No. Gentry, no choice but to tap out. And Mammoth never got into the match legally. Took a couple of cheap shots from Frost, and that was his only involvement.
Well, he was there. He fulfilled his obligation to be there, but nobody said he had to fight.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm just surprised, but these two picking up the impressive win, as impressive as a handicap match win can be. But still, look at this, a handshake. Oh my god. Okay, now we know why Mammoth took the announce table apart. He's just going after Cody Gentry. That's your tag partner, man. And Alan Clark and Frost coming out, trying to make the save, but Mammoth choosing to live to fight another day, walking away from the fight. He's going to have to fight them tomorrow, though. He thought about coming back then, but they clocked him. And Cody Gentry, someone better check on him. But we're getting into the main event now. But what do you make of that before we start talking about this main event? Mammoth taking out his aggression on Cody Gentry, of all people.
Mammoth taking out his aggression, that's just everyday work for him. But what do I make of the fact that yet again, Frost and Alan Clark had to have each other to even try to approach Mammoth? I just think that those guys can't get the job done on their own. And who could against Mammoth? You don't even just need those 2 guys. You need 3, 4, 5, 6 guys if you're going to approach Mammoth.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow, won't we, in the triple threat. Is 2 enough? And don't forget, they're not a team tomorrow. First one to pick up a pinfall gets the victory. They're against each other. But I wouldn't be surprised, especially early in the match, to see them team up a little bit on Mammoth. They've both got the issue with Mammoth. He's kind of made his bed with that one. But we shouldn't be disrespecting someone who's challenging for the EWA Championship tomorrow like this. Let's talk about CJ, the final Beat the Clock Challenge match. He's got to beat 4 minutes, 26 seconds. Just for the record, by the way, Thorne's time doesn't count because that just goes down as a loss for Cody, but the time doesn't change because Thorne is not one of the official participants. So, yeah, he's still got 4 minutes, 26 seconds to beat, has CJ. And I don't know, like, it's a big ask. Let's find out who his opponent is. I mean, I think we could do the maths and figure it out because, you know, there's only one man we haven't seen, and that's Misery. So here he is. But what do you think? 4 minutes 26?
I gotta say, I'm shocked. 4 minutes 26 seconds was the time that came out of the first matchup, and the idea that not only has it still stood since the first matchup, but nobody's gotten close to beating it. When the time ran out, and then the other one, Coyote Cody just flat out got beat by Thorne.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's so funny.
Doobie was on the ground. Drake Doobie was on the ground when the time ran out against Tornado. Like, he wasn't a 2 count into a 3 count fall and got unlucky. You know, he was losing that match at that point. And then Coyote Cody lost his match. So, CJ, gotta make a statement here. Otherwise, at this point, you're going to say, before watching this match, of the 3 we've seen, Shane Andrews, strong favourite for tomorrow night. We're just going to see where CJ slots into that favourites list.
I mean, these guys have got to... This is for the EWA Championship, and I never thought I would actually hear myself say this out loud, Mike. But if you win the Beat the Clock Challenge, and you get to choose your opponent, how do you not choose to go against Coyote Cody, who's just lost to Thorne?
I don't know. I would be avoiding Cody. Like, yeah, he just lost, but he's going to be mad. No, I am giving him to someone else. In my personal opinion, if I win this Beat the Clock Challenge, I'm going, nope. I don't care which of the other 2, but I don't want him. Like, I don't know. Maybe depending on the result of this match, but Cody is not going to be fun to go against tomorrow, that's for sure. But, did you notice, by the way, CJ almost got caught off guard. He was, taunting to the crowd. He was, you know, playing up to the crowd. He's quite popular here, CJ. And he was playing to the crowd, and Misery, the bell rang, and he tried to get a cheap shot, but CJ saw him coming, hit a hip toss to start the match. Good ring awareness. You know, you could say, oh, he almost got caught, but almost. A miss is as good as a mile, as they say. Yeah,
I think CJ, he's really got to pay attention to the clock here, because Misery, again, has a chance like everybody else to just play spoiler, and CJ's got to do something big, pick up a big win here, and get the momentum going into Genesis.
Yeah, and Misery, he can pick up a draw here, and that's kind of a moral victory, because he doesn't need to win this match, you know, but if he picks up a win because of the pressure like Thorne did, you know, it moves you up the rankings quickly, beating an EWA Championship contender.
Now, I know anything could happen at any moment, but as we are just under 3 minutes here, CJ doesn't really seem to have a big sense of urgency.
I don't know. He's pretty much beating Misery down into the mat. I think he's thinking along the lines of what I said during the Drake Doobie match, which is get your damage in, get your licks in, and then a minute to 30 seconds remaining, that's when you want to be getting that pinfall. Like, get your damage in. Make sure you're not wasting too many lots of 3 seconds. He's all over Misery. He's following him around the ring. He's not giving him any room. He's not going for pinfalls at the moment, but he's not giving him any time to rest either. It's consistent. It's just a consistent, steady stream of offense.
Well, by the way, how did that strategy work out for Drake Doobie? If I remember correctly, he ended up flat on his back, staring up at the ring lights.
You're right. Not great, but how did the hyper-aggressive strategy work for Cody? Can argue both strategies have fallen flat tonight, you know? So, but one of them's got to be right. One of them's got to work. It's just neither was executed correctly in those 2 matches.
I'll tell you which one worked. Shane Andrews'
strategy of going first worked. Yeah. He got out there, he set his own time, he wasn't in as much of a mad rush as everyone, and he set an impressive time, 4.5 minutes. Not many of the block matches in this tournament went less than 4:26. Like, that's probably in the top, I don't know, top 5 to 10 quickest matches we've seen so far. You know, like, it's not just a half decent time, it's a really impressive time. Now CJ going for a roll-up, which is uncharacteristic of him, I'd say.
Only about a minute left, and I don't know that he's done close to the amount of damage that he's going to need to put Misery down.
Oh, especially not when Misery is sweeping the leg and currently in control. Oh, but CJ fighting back. What's he got in mind here? Oh, we've seen him put Pain away with that move. He calls it the Sleep Maker. He's got it. No! Misery kicked out, plain spoiler. And CJ cannot be impressed with that. That's not good with 45 seconds left, less than, on the clock, to have someone kick out of what has traditionally been your best shot so far in EWA, the Sleep Maker. Now, Misery taking his time, letting CJ lean on the ropes and think about the situation he's in. And now look at this. Dragging him around the ring, knees to the gut. Russian leg sweep. That move alone took like 10 to 20 seconds off CJ's time. He ain't got much time left. 15 seconds, you've got to hit that Sleep Maker. It's an instant move. You need to break out, hit it and pin. You need to hit it now.
8 seconds.
And he doesn't. Misery regains control. And suplexes in. CJ's going to be down on the mat at the end of the time limit. This is incredible. Shane Andrews with such an advantage going into this main event, like tomorrow night on Genesis. And look at CJ. No, oh, uh-oh. Misery not done. He's gone and got a chair from under the ring. What's this about? There's no personal issue with Misery and CJ. Oh, Shane Andrews in the ring.
Look at this.
Shane Andrews. Wow. That's an interesting strategy. Playing good sportsman. Misery not happy with that. And now Shane Andrews offering the handshake to CJ.
He better not. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I think we've got our answer of who Shane Andrews wants to fight. Oh, that's going to be interesting. That, to me, was a message. But we're going to have to find out tomorrow who Shane Andrews has picked. But for now, make sure you subscribe. Don't miss tomorrow's show. It's going to be a good one.